Welcome to Red Light Therapy, a revolutionary technology perfected by NASA to aid in muscle strengthening and recovery. Red and infrared light has the capacity to penetrate deep into the cell's mitochondria, potentially leading to increased energy, faster recovery, and the optimal performance your body demands. Train, fight, recover.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
For over 16 years, EJDconstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDconstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDconstruction.com.
The viewpoint statements or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. The Sports Talk 305 network is back. It's time to talk Miami Dolphins football with the greatest fan base in the world. EJDconstruction.com is fully insured, liability and workers' comp. Call Eric if you need a custom home builder or general contractor. 305-433-4843. This is the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Postgame Show on the Sports Talk 305 network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Shobe. Here's your host, the Big O.
All right. Welcome aboard. Welcome to the show. Thank you all for joining us here on the Miami Dolphins Postgame Show, brought to you by EJD Construction. Yeah, 40-17. The news is not good overall, because you look at the score and you say, okay, well, the result wasn't good. You know, if you're coming onto the platform and expecting me to fire people and all that stuff, I got to tell you something. I was proud of this bunch. I was proud of this bunch today because, let's see, you're with your backup tackles, your backup corners, you got a third string quarterback, you've got a rookie coach, you're on the road, you've got all these hurdles in front of you, right? And to me, I gotta say, I give them props. They hung in there. That score really isn't indicative of what really happened on that field. It was a close game for a while, and they hung in there considering everything going on. I think that you have a coach. That's what I think. Listen, we'll get to the Skyler conversation, that ridiculous stuff, whatever. I can't. You needed David Copperfield to win this game. Let's just be honest. It wasn't. I'll give you an example, okay? And I think one of the things that there's, a lot of shock sports shows out there. And unfortunately, all they're trying to do is get a rise out of you instead of actually educating and talking and talking about the history of the game. And to give you an example, okay? So you want a backup quarterback to come in, right, and save you. Well, all right, Teddy Bridgewater has the experience. But unfortunately, he couldn't hang in there, and he took a shot, and he was out. Now comes in Skylar Thompson. And I know some of you made the call for him and all that stuff, and we'll get to that eventually. But I'll give you an example. When Greasy goes down, it's Earl Morrall that walks in. That's a guy that was leading the Colts to the Super Bowl before. He was a starter with a crap ton of experience. When Greasy would have a setback later on in some other years, or then Marino, you had a guy named Don Strock coming in that has experience in the system and all that kind of stuff. So they can come in and they can keep the ship afloat and they can move things along. Hell, Skylar Thompson isn't even Jim Jensen. Ask your dad or your grandpa or whatever. Jim Jensen was a quarterback first and foremost. And then Shula moved him to halfback, H-back, tight end, whatever you want to call him. Mr. Clutch is what I call him. Mr. Tough Sumbitch. But at least if Jensen had to play emergency quarterback, he was already in the system and all those things. So it allows a player to make a better transition when they've got to go live. I can't ask Mike McDaniel, tackles that can't really get it done. Armstead can't, stay in one piece. He's really becoming a disappointment, unfortunately. He's one of those signings that we can question and say, yeah, that one's not going well because I'm sorry, bro. You got to be available, man. You can't practice. You can't play, all those things. And so that one's not working out for the Miami Dolphins. He's unreliable. He can't be on the practice field and help his team out. To me, that's kind of useless. And then it sets your line back actually when you do stuff like that you can't be there for your team. So that one's turning out. So it's hard for me to ask McDaniel to get an offensive line that doesn't have all its pieces, a defense that needs its corners, and they've got the replacement corners there. You've got a third string quarterback that, God bless him, he's trying, man. He's a tough kid. He's trying, but it's not his fault, man. Give me a break. He's just outmatched at this point in time. And to me, the fact that they got back into that game and they hung in there, and then the final mistakes were made that were just the absolute killers. And then the game was over. Could we nitpick about this or that, and this call by the ref and that call by the ref? And, there were some that actually ended up going in the Dolphins' direction too. And either way, it was just a game that it was going to be really hard to overcome all the adversity that they had suffered. And you suffer this loss now, okay? The one thing that you're learning is that Tua Tagovailoa is incredibly valuable. Incredibly valuable. The offense will never hum like it does with him. Teddy will never get it a hum like that. Skylar's not even close. We don't even know if he ever will be able to do it. But that it shows you, and even for the haters out there that didn't believe he could play, you start looking around the NFL, and then you look at the way that kid was playing. By the way, I think you just fast-tracked his return for next week against Minnesota. Okay. Hey, Teddy suffered a concussion after Tua. So I told you Pittsburgh, well, that's been fast-tracked. Tua's coming. He's putting on those Viking horns, and boom, you saw the Vikings today? No. You need to lift that team up. You got to say Tua's coming back. Okay? So, anyway, that's what I think you've done. You've fast-tracked the Tua timetable now. He will be back for this Minnesota Vikings game. What are they going to do? Go into the week and go with Skylar against Minnesota? Come on, you're not doing that. And Teddy Two Gloves, he's never been the answer anyways. You got to go in the direction of Tua. Tua's got to save it, bro. And once you get Tua back, everybody like, whoa, yeah, we're back now. We can flow. Let's get rid of the ball, kid. Just get rid of the Vol. We'll meet on Wednesday. I'll be there on Wednesday. That's all I can say. Leon Fresco says 2 issues. Team is poorly constructed with injury-prone players Armstead, X, and Tua. Many free agent signings have sucked. Edmonds, Wilson, and Teddy. Actually, Tua is not injury-prone. That's a terrible label on his part. Tua is not using his intelligence to avoid injuries, is what it is. He's not injury-prone. He is his own worst enemy, as we've already did it on the show this week. Again, we'll repeat. First ankle injury that he blew, 3.91 seconds, 89 seconds. Second ankle injury, 4.55 seconds. His hip, 5 seconds. His concussion on Thursday night, over 5 seconds. You're not going to survive if you don't get rid of the football. So it's not that he's injury prone. It's that he makes bad decisions by holding on to the football, playing hero ball. And I get it. He can make plays. 4th and 7, 3rd and 22. Many throws already in the first couple of weeks where he threads some stuff over one guy, in between another, in between 3 or 4 guys. You know what I'm saying? So the kid is the shit, bro. Okay? Tua's the shit. That's all I got to say. I don't care what anybody tells me. He's a wheeler and a dealer, and I get it, and I love it, but he's got to learn to get rid of the damn football. That's all I'm asking. So he's not really injury prone. What he is prone to make the bad decision by holding on to the football and puts himself in that position. But I wouldn't. Armstead's been injury prone. We knew he was injury prone. We knew it was a gamble. And X, Fresco, you weren't saying anything about X the last couple of years. I think the only one that was going against the grain and talking about his injuries. Damn. I wonder, while he was having all those interceptions and then I was talking about it, I wonder who could it be? Anyway, whatever. What can I tell you? But thank you for the super chat. Rick D. Man, if Tua had this if Tua had this run game all season, imagine. Oh, yeah. They would have won Cincinnati and they would have won this game with Tua. Dolphins are undefeated with Tua right now. I'm convinced of that now. By watching all this shit going on. Marino, thank you, sir, for the love on the super chat. He says, who cares about Skyler? This team's worst problem. Defense is trash as expected. The O-line is trash again. No Tua, Mahomes, or Brady can save this. Nah, man, they were winning all their games. They would have. I just told you they would have been 5-0, dude. Your defense is better when your offense can give them a lead. If your defense is going to play behind and all that stuff, that this defense is not the defense that plays from behind. This is a front-running defense. And they were down by 21 against the Ravens and did get the ball back to the offense. So I disagree with you. If you have an offense and you have a quarterback, it brings the balance that you need. I'm not judging the defense in a game where they were completely behind the 8 ball without their corners. If you put the starting 2 corners, they play without Byron Jones the whole season. And without Byron Jones, they would be undefeated. With a healthy X and Tua, they're undefeated. I don't know what you're watching, sir, and I appreciate the super chat, Marino, but I couldn't disagree with you more, dude. I'm not, you know what, man? Some of you out there, it's just there's a little negativity, and you want to just go down the effing abyss and just call like the season's piss, and it's done, and that's a bunch of crap, man. This is a good team. There's a lot of good signs there. It just got out of hand because you can only do so much with so much. The great Gary Stevens, wherever you're at, is Gary still with us? I hope he is. I hope Gary's still with us. Coach Gary Stevens once said, as many great philosophers, okay? I mean, there are many, many, many great philosophers. Ludacris once said, We want a lady in the street, but a freak in the bed. You know, there are great philosophers in the history of time, like Ludacris. And like Ludacris, Gary Stevens, former University of Miami coach, former Miami Dolphin offensive coordinator under Jimmy Johnson and Dave Wanstead. Kevin Ding, who I believe is now with the Orange County Register, if he's still there, covers the Lakers beat, all that. The Dinger was out on the Dolphins beat one day. This is about, I don't know, 20 years ago, something like that. And the offense was struggling. And Gary Stevens, the great philosopher, just like Ludacris. Sir Mix-a-Lot, baby got back. I mean, there are things that, philosophies that must be told. He said you can't make chicken salad out of chicken shit. And I can't expect Mike McDaniel to make chicken salad out of chicken shit. So Gary Stevens' line to Kevin Ding of the Miami Herald at that time will live on forever in infamy here in South Florida. It will be one of the great lines of all time. Gary Stevens is a hell of a coach. I can't ask much more from him. Mike McDaniel proved to me he's a hell of a coach. I can only ask so much. So if you want me to go down this negative abyss today and start firing everybody, I'm not doing that, dude. I'm not doing that. I saw a team that fought and left everything they could on the field. But, brother, when you go to a gunfight and you got a butter knife, and they were Bruce Lee that bitch for a while. They Jet Lee'd that bitch for a while. They John Wicked it for a while. They hung in there. But backup tackles, backup corners, a third quarterback. What do you want? What the hell do you want? I saw a lot of character there, man. I saw a lot of fight. I saw men that left it there. And I think if you're a Dolphin fan, you got to understand, you got to be realistic where you stand. Okay? And remember, I've told you this many times that fans are very guilty of in some media. Sometimes we are guilty and we're our own worst enemies because we have unrealistic expectations. And when someone doesn't meet our unrealistic expectations, we then get pissed at them. And that's wrong. So if you thought Skylar Thompson was going to bail you out, a rookie 7th round pick, shame on you, because it's only Tom Brady. And we keep referring to Tom Brady like it's common. Like, yeah, no, college football shits 6th and 7th round quarterbacks that just go to the NFL and kick ass. No, of course, it happens all the time. There's hundreds and hundreds of examples. Tom Brady. No, the only hundreds of examples is that you have mentioned Tom Brady hundreds and thousands of times. But it's a silly argument. And stop with it already. So you look bad because you thought Skylar Thompson would be bad. So don't take it out on Mike McDaniel now. Don't take it out on the team. Don't take it out on Skylar Thompson. Some guy told me on Twitter, oh, Skylar doesn't have it. I said, you're an idiot. So now you're going to make a determination on the poor kid in a terrible situation for him. You're an idiot. Skylar's a young guy. We don't know what he can do, but he's got a lot of talent. But, dude, he's got to be coached up. He needs experience. This is how the game's played. Very few guys, yeah, I get it, us old guys. Well, Marino came off the bench against the Raiders and kicked that ass. Yeah, no, it happens all the freaking time, bro. Just like Tom Brady, all the time. That's how we do it. And stop it. It's not common. Common is you changing your underwear. I hope you shower every day. I hope that's common in your life. But 7th round quarterbacks out of Kansas State just walking into the NFL saying, yeah, bitch, I got you. Boom, boom, boom. No. And no. But don't take it out on them. They balled out today. They did the best that they can do with what they had. Okay? They were a one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. Hard to win. Hard to win. I know we're waiting Mike McDaniel. We've got Cam Wolfe. I see him on deck there. Cam, this might be like a two-parter because if Mike comes, then we got to go to Mike. So let's go right now to the KSDT CPA Miami Dolphins postgame report.
We unleash the Wolf Pack as we get the latest in the NFL and the Miami Dolphins with our KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL Network insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is one of South Florida's largest and one of the country's fastest growing accounting firms. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370. Here's NFL insider Cameron Wolfe.
All righty, there he is. All right.
What's up, Bo? How you feeling?
Well, I'm doing good, bro. You know,
Yeah.
I get it. It sucks that they lost, but I'm sorry. I don't look at it. I'm not going to be all mad about this whole thing that it was terrible. I thought those guys did the best they could, bro. I really did. I feel bad for them, actually.
So here's what I would say. Obviously, they were in a tough situation without Tua, without Teddy. That's not ideal in any situation, but they didn't play well on any stage of the game. You know, they got boat raced by this Jets team, 40-17. I'm not sure Patrick Mahomes would have saved them from that game, how they played defensively today. So I think that
you can't play without those corners. It changes the entire.
Right, but here's what I will say. I think you're right about a lot of this.
Tackles.
I think you're right about a lot of this, but we don't make you don't make excuses, right? The Dolphins fans didn't want the Bills to make excuses when they were losing both safeties when they beat them earlier this year, and they were down.
They weren't on their third quarterback, bro. They weren't on their third quarterback.
But I would say, here's my.
Here we go.
It's rough. You know, the whole team has confidence in Skylar, and you know, I think our team in general doesn't look at it like we're a one-man savior at any spot. So it is a new set of circumstances of adversity so early, but I didn't think that the rest of the team's response to losing Teddy had anything to do with losing the game. It adjusted a little bit. You know, you try to do stuff that the quarterback that's playing is very comfortable with. We're in communication all week, and I kind of have an idea. So there's, you know, maybe a couple calls that you know, I really would have done a hair different with Teddy, but for the most part, you know, Skylar has earned the confidence of the team, and it was you know, he did have a rough rookie outing, but that's not really a cause of concern moving forward, knowing that he's the type of person he is, and the biggest thing is he's got to learn from it, which I know he will.
Your running game was more effective today. Was that in part that you had to maybe step back from the passing game and with the new quarterback and lean on the running game a little more?
Yeah, I mean, we knew coming into the game that, you know, I think that is where a little familiarity with the coaching staff. I kind of figured we'd be getting certain types of defenses. So we knew and had, you know, put a strong focus, and our objective going into the game was, you know, we thought we'd have some good opportunities, so we needed to take advantage of them. No, it's that, you know, maybe that's that could have had you know, a slight effect on Skylar, perhaps, just it being so soon in the game. But it's something that I think that all of his teammates and coaching staff know he's fully built to be able to handle, But I do think it being so early might have been that was the one guy that it might have been tough on, was the guy that had to come in himself.
His defense made his name on pressure and takeaways, and had one interception. That was the first series of the first game. So you haven't had any since. Got some pressure today. Are you concerned that the turnovers aren't coming the way you would expect?
It's not necessarily a concern as much as it is a focal point to improve on. I think, as you guys know, I think regardless of win or loss in general, success or failure, this is a journey throughout the season that you don't you don't, as long as you take the same from losses and wins, and that's how to get better and improve. I think that's what winning teams do, because they end up playing their best football in November and December. So it's a definite point of emphasis. It's not nearly to the point of our expectation, for sure. So it's something that we got to figure out a way as a coaching staff and as players collectively to try to right that ship, because there is a big component of this defense that we expect as a coaching staff to get turnovers, and so we'll address it with a fine-tooth comb to see if we can improve that, for sure. Well, Teddy, basically what happened is a spotter saw him stumble. He under the new rules and changes, is ruled out and placed in protocol. He doesn't have any symptoms, and he's passed his evaluation, but he'll be now under the new regulations in the concussion protocol moving forward. I haven't. I believe he's fine to travel. I wouldn't say with 100% certainty, but I believe he's fine to travel.
A little bit about you're in a hole from the first play. You battle back, and you get into the fourth quarter with an opportunity to go ahead. You missed the field goal, and it just seemed like the bottom fell out. Was that just circumstantial, or was it that
whether it's whether it's correlation or causation, it doesn't matter. I think that is something that the team has to be aware of, and the team has to address, and without a doubt, that's what one of the things I'm going to bring up, because when push comes to shove, there's so much time in the fourth quarter, or so much time in the second half, I should say, that shoot, we missed the field goal. Let's get a stop. Let's get the ball back, and let's go do it again. Have total faith in our field goal unit to make those long ones. Also, the offense can do a better job of not making it so long. But without a doubt, to say that the wheels fell off would be fair, because it occurred in all three phases, and that's something that you can't let slip through your fingers and try not to figure out the why. That's what our coaching staff and our collectively our players, that's what they get paid to do. So we got to figure that out, because that's not acceptable, and it really shouldn't have been as much of a momentum shift as I think it played out to be.
What was your reaction last night to the investigation, including
I honestly, I'm happy that there's some policy that the medical experts deem is more safe the players collectively. So that's a positive thing. As far as uh, the you know as far as the determination that the things were followed appropriately, that didn't surprise me. That's what I've been saying from the beginning.
With the new protocol, and you've had two quarterbacks in the protocol, moving forward, do you think you need to have 3 active quarterbacks each game, if possible?
Oh, it's gonna be tricky because you don't know. You don't want to leave things up to chance in terms of there's no there. It's impossible to say whether or not someone's the timeline of when they're going to clear um, protocol. So, um, this particular situation, obviously with the new rule change as of yesterday, is unique and slightly uncharted. But I think we're comfortable having 2 quarterbacks, you know, on the game day roster. So we're gonna have to, kind of assess those situations, and we might have to make a move as a result. But we'll just be working on that moving forward.
What was your level of, I guess, comfort or happiness with the touches that Tyreek and Jalen were able to get today?
We kind of they kind of knew that in the long term scheme of things that we're until we start being a little more productive in the run game, there is going to be some disadvantage in the pass game. So they went into this game kind of knowing that their targets might be minimized early, but they, to their credit and the type of players they are, they want to be on a winning football team, and that you have to offensively you have to be able to run and pass, not just pass. So obviously that's they're a huge component of our offense. But to say uh, that that their touches were equating to our offensive productivity, I don't think is necessarily correct. You try to take stuff that the defense is giving you, and they were. It was obvious from very early in the game that they were going to play the pass until we proved otherwise. So I can't remember a first or second down single safety defense until the second half. Um, and then there was a little, we had to pull Tyreek at the end. He got stepped on pretty hard. So that kind of hurt his cause in the second half as well. Well, it was unfortunate X wasn't able to um, uh, really get to the game. He tried his butt off, that's for sure. Tehran, we had already kind of scheduled something for him to stay in New York and get something looked at with regard to his foot. So he'll be staying here, and hopefully we get some good information to how to address it moving forward, because I know that's really frustrating him, and he's a tough player to lose. And then I'm sorry, who else? Then Tyreek. I feel he's a very quick healer. I'm very optimistic, but at this point, I don't really know. No.
What you said that you've seen some cool things out of Ricky Mostert in the run game over the past week or so. I was curious, what are some of those little things you've noticed that let you know he's ready to shoulder the brunt of the workload in the backfield?
No, so I always it's a pretty simple formula. Um, you kind of have an expectation, especially when you've been um, as a coach. You see a front, you see a coverage, and you know the play. So you know the pieces of it that are tough in terms of blocking, and so you know kind of how much you can the runner is going to get until there's contact. What's been cool seeing Raheem the last couple weeks is his yards after contact, the ones that aren't really I don't know what you'd call it, sexy. It's more like those lean yardage where you turn a 4-yard gain into a 7. Now it's 2nd and 3 as opposed to 2nd and 6. Huge difference. Those are the things that I think have really stood out where he is at with his game. I know that his teammates feel it, and he's earned each and every opportunity he gets. Appreciate it. Thank you.
There you go. All right. All right. All right. All right. First of all, your thoughts on the Teron Armstead situation?
Yeah, I think Teron's been dealing with this since that first week. I think I reported it after, but he left that game in a walking boot. Every game after, he's been heavily limping after. So we've seen him play through it, but it's clearly bothered him. It's clearly not 100%. So it was something they were trying to battle through and see if he could manage. And clearly today he couldn't do it. And so the question now is, does he have to miss time if he sees a specialist and they require him to get surgery or get some time off? And if so, how much time? Because he's a huge cog to their offensive line. We saw it today. I mean, there was a lot more pressure. Like Skylar held on the ball a lot longer. That was a part of it. But Teron also holds down, even 80% Teron holds down the left side that these other guys don't. So definitely huge news. I mean, the reality of it is this: Teron Armstead's a top 3, top 5 left tackle in football when he's healthy. The knock on him has been that he hasn't been able to consistently stay healthy. So that's just the reality of it. Like, football's tough. I'm not saying that it's fair. Injuries happen, but the reality of it is, he hasn't had a history of staying healthy. And so this will be a situation where you gotta hope that you can get him healthy, even if he has to miss a little bit of time, to me.
Yeah, to me, this is a rough one because it's now becoming a bad signing, pretty much. And
I think it's a little early for that. We haven't seen him miss any time yet.
It is. We'll see how it finishes, but it's working its way to that right now because it's already been a disappointment. Really, let's be honest now. It hurts the line that he can't practice throughout training camp and all that because you're worried about him. And clearly there's been something going on because they've been worrying and babying him throughout this whole process. Now he has the toe injury. And so it's just one of those things that it's a shame because that's such a key person to this entire line. And I just hope he doesn't need surgery because then it becomes a bad decision that you played him when maybe you could have rested him to a certain extent and say, okay, let's get you back. Like what they're doing with Byron Jones, that he's obviously not healthy and they're going to let him get healthy until they bring him back. I don't know.
Yeah, I think you're looking at a lot of injuries now that are definitely impacting the team. Like Teron Armstead, obviously Tua is the first one that impacts you heavily. Teron Armstead, he's probably a top 3, top 4 most important player on this team, and just putting in Brandon Shell, it helps. It makes you get through a game, but that's a significant downgrade. Like a huge downgrade, and it changes how you can run your offense. It changes how much you can take deep shots. Everybody loves the Tua deep shots, right? You can't throw deep shots if Tua is back there only having 2 seconds to throw. And so
and as people are pointing out on the board, Greg Little also was
Greg Little, it was a thing for 2 or 3 weeks where you're like, hey, kid, is he going to stay the right tackle all year? And maybe that's because obviously there wasn't a great view of Austin Jackson coming in, but backups get exposed. As you leave them out there longer, they get exposed for what they are. So that's just the reality of the situation. And so that injury is impactful. Like you mentioned, Byron Jones, they expected him to be back a lot sooner. And so, when you look at him, when you look at Xavier Howard, when you look at that on defense, this is a team where I think particularly in defense, we thought this team was going to be coming back and looking like they did over the second half of the year. The reality is they have looked a lot closer to the first half of the year for much of the season defensively. And a part of that's been the lack of pass rush without blitzing. A part of that has been Byron and Xavier not being healthy, and you having to play a lot of young corners. Kader Kohu's been a really good story, and he's played well to an extent. But like I said, some of these players, Keon Cross and today Noah Igbenogany, you play a lot of these guys who are backups, and eventually they get exposed. And so we're looking at a team that was 3-0 with a lot of hopes, and this is the AFC's contender, and now they're hurt, and you see some issues with depth, and now you're like, what the heck is going on with this team? And so this is a very interesting period they're going through, because they got the Vikings this week, a Vikings team that isn't a great team, but it's a team with Justin Jefferson, who I think Justin Jefferson had 100 yards in the first quarter, I think, today. Kirk Cousins started 17 of 17, and they still almost lost to the Bears. But either way, their passing attack, along with Dalvin Cook, that's not what you want to see coming into a game where you got a banged up Xavier Howard. Doesn't seem like Byron Jones is any close to playing either. And so, there's a real possibility they lose 3 straight, and they're at 3-3, after this week. And we look at that team a lot differently than we did 3 weeks ago.
Does this speed up the Tua return?
No, it shouldn't. It shouldn't, because the reality of the situation is it's not an ankle. It's not something that you should be able to play 75% on, right? Like if it was a high ankle sprain and you're like, hey, we'll put Tua out there even though he can't run super well and he's a little bit limited, but we'll make him play through it. Or the back injury initially, right? You could have him play even though he's not 100%. This is a straight, is he cleared or is he not type deal. And so I think you'll see him go through the protocol. It wouldn't shock me if for whatever reason he does clear the protocol and can play. But it also wouldn't shock me if he has to miss another game or two. And so,
by the way, it sounds to me like he could have played today. So
I
he's still in the concussion protocol. I think he's one of those dudes. Ethan Carter is not.
Right, but I think this concussion protocol stuff, as we've learned over the last week, is very serious. And so the fact that he's still in the protocol means he shouldn't be playing. So he's good enough to talk with his teammates and be hanging around and smiling and making jokes, but is he good enough to get hit again on the football field? No. So I think that he's got to go through the protocol and make sure he's good. So whether that happens this week, next week.
But it seems like he's been cleared of all the stuff so far. All the tests have come clear, right? Everything.
So here's a little bit of clarity here. The X-rays have come clear. The MRI and the CT scan. That's all saying that there are no broken bones. They're saying there's no tissue broken, and the CT scan said, hey, there's no major brain hemorrhage. Right. That does not mean that he doesn't have a concussion. You still have a concussion, even though all those things are clear. So maybe that's our job as reporters, not making that clear enough, but he does still have a concussion. That part is not clear. He's cleared everything else as far as like, hey, this dude is not paralyzed. He doesn't have any contusions that are going to like impact his like quality of life, but he does have a concussion, and he has to go through the protocol as shown. And so because that one was very bad concussion, you could see it end up missing multiple games. That wouldn't shock me. But that's something we won't know until probably.
I thought it was the Pittsburgh game. I thought he would come back for the Pittsburgh game 24 days. But after this loss and you're down to your third guy, I'm kind of thinking they might speed. And plus Teddy is like, well, no, Teddy went into the concussion protocol after Tua. So, they can kind of play that card too, And by the way, please, let's not at least on this show, I'm not taking anything the NFL does serious. Okay. No.
So here's what I would say. On Teddy in particular, his situation based on what the team is saying is that he passed all his concussion tests and he does not have a concussion, does not have symptoms. Now he's technically in the protocol because of the new rules, and those rules are being more cautious than not. And so this may be a situation where in the old protocol, Teddy would have been cleared to return and he would have been good. And so he still has to go through the 5-step process. But if he does not have a concussion now, he should be able to get through that 5-step process and be able to play on Sunday, at least based in theory, if Tua can't go. And so ideally, since if that situation is what it looks like, then you would still have Teddy for week 6 if I'm just putting the pieces together. But like I said, the other concussion, like the Tua concussion, which we know is actually a concussion, that one's a little bit different.
Yeah, they're not the group I'm trusting on any of this in the first place. This is all for me a whole bunch of PR bullcrap, because it seems to me like they follow the protocol. It's just now because of the optics, they had to feed the lynch mob some meat, so they threw them the doc.
I do think like there's been different responses on how they've gone about it, but I do think there is some caution and some optics that play in all of this. And I think you're going to see a lot of dudes like Teddy today who have been ruled out of games that probably could have kept playing. And their view of it is we'd rather be safe and rule out people who don't have concussions than be sorry and let people play who do have concussions. That's their view of it, but it is going to screw over some teams and some players. And I think it's going to become a bigger discussion if we get to playoffs and you got a Patrick Mahomes or you got a Tom Brady or you got that sort of thing, and you see the spotter sees you upstairs and he rules you out and the guy doesn't have a concussion. I think that probably ends up being a big deal. And I think the NFL probably knows that. And like I said, they would rather have this be the evil than to be viewed as a league that doesn't care about concussions, which was the narrative for the last week when Tua was going through. It was like, hey, they don't care. They say screw them. And so I think they're like everything is reactionary and you overcompensate on how you do the protocol. So that's
for years, I thought that the NFL and the players would end up coming up with a waiver because just to avoid lawsuits and say, hey, man, the risks. Here you go. You sign the waiver. You're playing this game. We'll try to protect you, but we can only protect you from yourself so much. It's up to you. So if now teams start losing players, like you said, in key moments to clinch a division title, a bye week, a playoff spot, or in the middle of a playoff game or a Super Bowl, and you don't allow somebody to finish games, which the league is littered with the history of players finishing games all effed up with all kinds of injuries, right? And they would have done it all over again. So I just wonder, are we going to get to that point? I know the PR side for the league, they don't want those scenes because those scenes don't sell the game to young people and parents, and they don't allow their kids to play and all that kind of stuff. So I know they're worried about the repercussions for future generations to even get in the game. So I understand that part, but you can't stop a grown man who wants to get back in the game. And if they do check out, then why wouldn't you let them back in? Even if their bell was rung, why wouldn't you let them back in? You run them through the protocol and they check out everything, their reflexes, everything, and they want to go back. What's the difference between the fireman that goes into the fire into the blazing building? What's the difference between anything that anybody does that is crazy in their work or hobbies or whatever like that? Hey, during the pandemic, some people chose that they did not want to wear the mask no matter what.
Right.
That was their choice, right?
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, do we ever get to that point?
I think it's an interesting question, right? Because I think it was like that before we became more informed of the concussion element. I think like I talk to old players and they tell me they probably played half their games with a concussion, right? And so they did that, and I asked them, hey, would you have done anything differently if you knew now? And most of their answers are no. I made money for my livelihood, but a lot of those players now are dying from CTE and have CTE found in them. And so it's the give and the take, right? And so I think the element that the NFL, like you mentioned, wants to protect itself from is that it's a league of business that makes a lot of money for a lot of people. And like most businesses, they want to prevent themselves from having liability and causing long-term health. As you've seen,
waiver.
And have you seen in years, like there's a lot of players who've ended up suing the league based off of how they've handled their health protocols. And so I think a lot of that is that perspective. And there's also, I think, a feel from probably fans who watch the game, like we're watching a game. And so like the professions you mentioned, like firefighters, police officers, these are people who are saving legitimate lives as they do their job.
An MMA fighter, bro. Come on,
right,
dude.
But I'm saying, Yeah, but I love MMA and boxing, right? But there are doctors who have
but MMA is worse than boxing. Like
true. But
there has
here's
to be a
here's
couple
what I will say that
concussions in every match that there is, like every card. Dude,
yes.
come on.
So here's what I would say about MMA and boxing though. If a player gets their bell rung, they have to be suspended for a mandated 3 to 6 months, and they cannot fight again or train again or be in the gym after that. And so the boxing and MMA have these rules, and they're set. And so the NFL put these
How
rules
many
in.
guys have you seen or women that are getting their ass beat and they're kind of wobbly and they still get the 7 count or whatever?
Oh no, you're right about that. You're right about that.
And you know they're continuing that fight, and there's probably some kind of a concussion going on in there.
Absolutely. Absolutely. But if a dude gets knocked out, if you lose by knockout, you have a mandated amount of time you cannot enter back in the ring. And so I'm equating, like, I think boxing and MMA is way more contact to the head and more, direct than football. But in football, the new rule, which I'm not saying I love it as written, but I understand that they had to do something, especially given how public the Tua thing was. Their new rule is, hey, if it looks like you stumble, you're out.
Right.
For at least the rest of the game. And to me, it's almost like the targeting rule. It's different, but it's the same. Like the targeting rule in college, right? A lot of people don't like that rule because you automatically are out for the rest of the game. And there will be some hits that were like, that guy shouldn't have been kicked out of the game. But the goal is we try to take those hits out of the game and have the players be more cautious. And yeah, we might kick out a dude or two who shouldn't be kicked out. But ideally, it makes players think about it because they know they could be lost for a game if they get hit that way. And so to me, this is similar in that respect, that you're trying to be more cautious than reactive, which the league has often been on these issues, just reactive.
What could have they done differently if you were the coaches today, if you wanted to get a different result? What could have been done?
Wow, there's quite a list, Big O, because this is the worst game they played all year by far. But I think this is the worst I've seen them play probably since
the worst quarter, right? Because it was a close game through 3 quarters.
True. The fourth quarter was horrific. But I would say, like, this team resembled to me a lot of the first half of 2021, where to me we focus so much on the offensive side of the ball. So I want to focus briefly on the defense side of the ball. This is a team where they're playing the Jets, a team that does not have a great offense, maybe a good offense, even that may be stretching it. They gave up 40 points. Zach Wilson was going with ease. They were having coverage busts. Breece Hall was like, there was nobody within 10 yards of him on that 79-yard play there, busting up big holes there. This is a team that's supposed to be assignment style. They brought back all 11 starters, so there's supposed to be continuity. And today they were just exposed. Today, to me, they were outcoached in a lot of different aspects, particularly in the second half. And frankly, they just played sloppy football. And so I think that this is an element where.
But they didn't bring back the 11. When you're not playing with X and Byron, you're not bringing back the 11. And when you're putting Needham on the outside, you're hurting your team because he's really a slot guy, if you're really honest with yourself. So you're not looking at it fairly, because that defense if you took Pat and Sam off of the defense back in the day, Jason Taylor and the boys would struggle a lot more because they didn't have the back end island guys that could take people out and take two of the top players off your offense out of the picture, just like X does. Which is what they were doing in Cincinnati, that they had X taking one guy out, and then they had Holland, rolling over and taking care of the other corner. So, it's not a fair judgment to say, oh, they've got the same 11 back there. That was
right. So that's why I said the injuries do play a factor here, but I'm just here's what I would say. I don't like making excuses for teams that get blown out. Like if this is one play difference, if they're like, hey, if Cater or Noah got beat on a deep touchdown and that was difference between a win or loss, I might say, hey, X back there, you win that game. That was difference between a win or a loss. When you lose 40-17, not having X and Byron or even Tua out there is not a 23-point difference.
Yeah, but it's also mistakes that you made with the third string quarterback, dude.
Oh, correct. Skylar did not play well today. Skylar did not, and for a lot of people who wanted, a lot of people who said, hey, Skylar should be playing ahead of all these people. This was a little bit of a wake up call that, hey, this guy played really well in the first half. I mean, in the preseason, but not today. You know, it's different when the bullets are flying, and so I think that this team had a lot to look in their face with. I think, like I said, they got a Minnesota team coming through that I am worried that their defense is going to get exposed again. And so the one positive is they ran the ball and they got the ball to Raheem Mostert, who has been clearly their best back this year. And I think this is a team that, especially while Tua is out, they're going to have to lean a lot more on that run attack. And the one thing offensively is they scored 14 points in the first half. They ran the ball very well, over 100 yards rushing, and then they went away from it in the second half. And they put it more on Skylar's hands, and Skylar couldn't keep up with the Jets offense. And so that's something that I think if Mike McDaniel looks at the tape today or tomorrow, he would say, hey, I would like to get that back, where I would love to just keep the ball a little bit more in Raheem's hands, even if it's little dump off screen passes instead of runs. You know, you use your playmakers more than just having your third string rookie quarterback hold on to the ball for 3-4 seconds looking downfield.
I'm with you there. I do understand that, but if you look, Mostert, how many carries are you going to give Mostert? And remember,
as many as he can handle.
Well, that's you have enough injuries already as it is.
Right, but so if you don't want to give more to Raheem, then give a few to Chase, or give some.
Okay, well, that's more like it, but you got to also understand that's a guy that's coming back from a knee injury.
Yeah.
So you look at it, and Raheem Mostert had 18 carries for 113 yards. In today's NFL, 18 carries is a lot, especially for a guy like Raheem. So it would have to be Chase, but Chase, I guess
Chase had a couple drops in the first half today. That's why I don't know if you noticed, but Chase Edmonds essentially got benched for Myles Gaskin as the second running back in there, and so you saw a lot of more Myles in the second half because Chase wasn't catching the ball, just to be frank. Right. I mean, there was a lot of dudes who couldn't catch. Tanner Connor, who was another preseason darling, had a pretty bad drop today.
But God, again, he's a rookie. You got to just there's got to be a developmental stage.
It is. And I think it's a little unfair, but I think it's something for the fans who want to crown people based off what they see in training camp and preseason. Just let you know that, it takes time.
Wait, hold on a second.
Because Big O, don't give me you gotta admit.
Wait a minute. Let me go after you now, because you're right about going after the people that expected Skylar whatever to be your savior, but you're also being overly critical on the Dolphins when they had to rely on the Skylars and the Tanners and whatever the names are of the people that played tackle today, or Noah Igbenogany, who really just, it's really like this experiment is kind of over. And so when you're stuck playing a whole bunch of people and there wasn't anybody else then Mostert actually playing in out of that, it's not fair too. You're also being overly critical on a team that's missing their tackles, missing their corners, and you're expecting the same kind of production.
Just the reality of the situation. You get beat 40-17 to New York Jets. I'm going to be
just the fourth quarter.
It is what it is. If you want me to say, hey, it's okay. They had a lot of dudes hurt. We're going to get better. And they're not going to lose
three
like
quarters. They were it was 19-17, right? For three quarters.
I understand that, but how many quarters do they play?
No, but
if they played a 3-quarter game, then you say, "Oh yeah, we played them tough. We played the New York Jets tough."
You're making it sound like they got their asses kicked for 4 quarters when they only got their asses kicked for 1 quarter.
Oh, that's enough.
1 quarter.
That's enough.
Well, I mean, it's enough when you're only hanging on to a thread with the talent that you have.
Right.
I feel like 2 of the last 2 years when I keep telling everybody the coaching's not there, the talent's not there, give the kid the coaching, give the kid the talent. Same thing here. I mean, I give Mike McDaniel his pieces back. And
here's where we're different. Like I feel like I can be critical without saying that Mike McDaniel is a bad coach for losing this game. No, I don't think that's the truth. I think that he still had a really good year of coaching, but I can say that this game in particular was not a good game for Mike McDaniel, for them as a team. And I can admit the context that yes, they were down some players, but that should not be the reason you lose by 23 points to New York Jets. That's my view. Maybe we'll disagree. Maybe we'll disagree. But my view is that you can say that these guys were out and it played an impact on the game. But the Dolphins also got outplayed and outcoached, so that's why they lost by 23 points.
A third-string quarterback that's never played in the NFL, 2 left tackles that probably may not belong in the NFL, corners that are backups or a slot, and those are just players?
I hear you. I told you, I put the context out there. We started this conversation, and I told you the importance. You know me. You were trying to tell me all offseason to trade Xavier Howard. I was telling you can't trade Xavier Howard because of how important he is to your team. Do you not remember this? We had conversations about this all offseason.
How's the gimp or limp going now?
But I'm telling you, you're playing both sides. You're saying that he's not significant enough. You should trade him away, and then he's hurt.
No.
Let me finish.
I said he was a pain in the ass because of all the baggage.
So let me finish. So Byron Jones obviously is a factor, but let's be real. Even when they were 3-0, they were playing without Byron Jones, and so we don't all of a sudden just say, "Oh, Byron Jones has prevented them from doing all this stuff" when they hadn't played all offseason. Quite frankly, Tua's playing the last 2 games are undefeated. That's so the new thing is the Xavier Howard not being out there, which I think is a big factor. But that being said, you were the guy who told me you should trade him away. He's too big of an issue, that sort of thing.
Yeah,
and
last
the same
year
token,
on the year after,
you're saying that they should get excuses for getting blown out by the Jets because they didn't have Xavier Howard.
And Byron Jones and the two and the quarterback. I mean, it's like you don't have anything that resembles the 11 from last year because you said they brought back the 11. That's what you said on this today. You said they brought back the 11. That's just not accurate. It's not accurate.
They brought back the 11. There are a couple that are hurt right now. Yeah, but they brought back their 11. There are. But I guess my thing is that
but number 10 and 11 are incredibly important from last year.
They are very important.
They change everything you can do on defense. Those two guys,
very important, right? But I will also say that teams deal with injuries, significant injuries, all the time. Like I bring this example up: the Buffalo Bills, which I know Dolphins fans are not going to like to hear this. Buffalo Bills, Micah Hyde and Jordan Poyer are their 2 most important players on defense. They're communicators. They make things work. They are their Xavier Howard and Byron Jones. It maybe even more. And they were without them. The Dolphins won that
Josh
game.
Allen, bro. They had Josh Allen. Hold on. Don't even try that. Don't even try that.
Hold on.
Josh Allen.
Hold on. The Bills were without them that whole game. And Dolphins fans said, which I agree with, that you don't use excuses. You don't use that as an excuse. We just had
Josh
that.
Allen.
Okay.
Did I not just say about 30 seconds ago, if Tua was playing, what would the Dolphins be?
Okay.
What did I just say?
Right.
Okay. They had Josh Allen. Please don't make that comparison.
Okay. So you don't want to use the Buffalo Bills one, right?
No, you can't make that comparison. When you have Josh Allen, you can't make that comparison.
Okay, so you don't feel like that's a fair comparison? Whatever.
No. It's a ridiculous comparison.
Okay, I'm just telling
you.
Ridiculous. My point there is that look, these injuries, Xavier Howard, Byron Jones, you're making these like these destroyed teams. Teams have these injuries all the time.
I just used it on you because you said they brought back the 11, and that's not true.
It did, but 2 were injured. 2 key ones are injured. Yes.
And the 2 tackles are also not there in the damn game. And the starting quarterback is not there in the damn game. You're down to your 3rd guy.
So here's what I would say. I'm sitting here watching the Dallas Cowboys who are playing with Cooper Rush, and they're being led by their defense, and Cooper Rush is keeping them afloat. And so this is a team that does not have their starting quarterback, and they have been winning because their defense has been stepping up to the plate. Issue has been the Dolphins'
Rush has been in the NFL 5
of the game.
Rush has been in the NFL 5 years.
Okay.
Skylar Thompson has been in the NFL 5 months, my brother. Come on.
Okay.
Oh,
We'll just agree to disagree. I got you. They lost by 23 points only because they were hurt, and they're good. They're good. There's no worries here. They're just hurt. Once they're healthy, they'll be a great team again. They'll be one of the best teams in the league. There's nothing to worry about. I got you.
Well, hold on a second. Can Armstead get healthy? Is he going to get healthy? Does he need surgery? That puts you up Schitt's Creek. Is Austin Jackson going to come back because Little's not good enough? So that's a problem.
These are factors, but my thing is that you can't control injuries. You can control what you do for the rest of the game. And to me, there are bigger issues here to go along with their injury. That's my whole point. Not to excuse the injuries. They are factors. But to me, watching them play today shows me there are things they need to fix, particularly on the defensive side of the ball, that are beyond just Xavier and Byron Jones being hurt. And so that is my whole point in this.
I would agree. I would agree with that.
Points to the
Jets. They haven't been good in pass rush. You're right.
Right. If you give up 40 points to the Jets, even without Xavier and Byron Jones, there are some things that you have to figure out on the defensive side of the ball because you are not the team that you thought you were over the second half of last year.
Fair enough.
That's my point here.
Fair enough. I got you. As long as you don't compare the athletic Sasquatch to this situation. No, seriously, that guy's a freak, bro. I mean, that guy's just sick. By the way, the Detroit thing, is that fuse already done? Like I've said, that rah-rah bullshit only goes so far, bro. You can be a rah-rah coach and all that crap. In the end, it better be about X's and O's. You better get results. And that's why the Dan Campbell thing was really cutesy, but I never believed in it because of that. And look at it now.
Yeah, they got dominated today. And they got dominated by a third-string quarterback, by the way, a rookie third-string quarterback.
I think he threw like 100 yards. He didn't really do that much.
He didn't do a ton, but I think they scored like 29 points.
Yeah. But it wasn't really that he was lighting it up. The running back had like 170 yards. And
you
know what they did? You know what they did? Remember the Buffalo game from last year, the 6-3 game? He won other ways and didn't put the quarterback in the position where you have to win the game. And Detroit will beat themselves too. So, they got those coaches arguing with each other. That something's going to come of that. Watch in the next week or two from that staff. Some domino's going to fall on that staff. That's what's going to end up happening. That was not a normal staff. I don't know did you watch it?
The Lions Patriots game? No, I did not watch the Lions Patriots game.
No.
Why would I watch the Lions Patriots game?
No, hard knocks. No, hard knocks.
Hard knocks. Yes, I did watch Hard Knocks.
No. We should make terrorists that we capture watch those kind of games as torture.
No.
That's what we should do. All right, Cam. We will catch up during the week. Much love.
Yeah.
Safe in your travels, brother.
All right. Appreciate you.
That is the KSDT CPA post-game report.
This has been the KSDT CPA Pro Football Report with NFL insider Cameron Wolfe. KSDT is recognized by Forbes as one of the top tax accounting firms for 2022. KSDT CPA is a full-service firm that also excels in crypto. Visit them at ksdtcpa.com or call 305-670-3370.
I love it. Some of you already calling it a dumpster fire and all. You guys are terrible, bro. You guys just don't get it. But that's all right. All right, let's head out to New York. Let's go to Marcel. He's hanging out with the rats in New York on the subways, probably. That poor guy. Oh, my God. If he's got to take a subway while he's there. Poor guy. All right, let's go to our myedgedrink.com Miami Dolphins postgame report.
Time to get the edge on the Miami Dolphins with our Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins report. When you want the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste, you can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com. Here's the ESPN Dolphin insider Marcel Louis-Jacques.
All right. There he is. Let's bring him aboard. How you go? Looking sharp and everything. You're wearing a suit for us, right? Not for ESPN.
Just for you. Nah, man. I just did a just did a YouTube show with Sal Palantonio, man. I gotta at least try to dress the part, man. That guy's a legend.
Yes,
I can't look like a bum, not a complete
Sal
bum, at
Powell.
least.
Yes, definitely. Sal Powell is definitely a good dude. Your interpretation of the game, because I guess Cam and I had a little bit of a difference. Because to me, I kind of, I thought they did a pretty good job overall, bro, for 3 quarters, and that last quarter, the crap finally hit the fan. Without your starting tackles, your starting corners, and your third quarterback, man, I think you can only do so much. And I thought they kept it afloat. Could they play better? Of course, but that fourth quarter, wasn't surprised in a way, man. So you tell me, how bad do you see it? I guess.
Look, I want to be clear. This was definitely a winnable game, even despite the backup tackles, the third string quarterback, out your top 2 corner. All of this was still a winnable game. The Jets they're not that good. They're not 23 points better than the Dolphins. And just to get it out the way, yes, at full strength, this is probably a decisive Dolphins win. Mike McDaniel kind of said it best. He said, to say the wheels fell off is accurate. It's accurate. The defense kept them in the game throughout this contest. They were down 12-0, bang, bang, right away. Only allowed 5 points, or 7 points for the rest of for the bulk of the second half. Okay. I think they were right. They were there. Are there things that you want to see differently? Of course, you would love for the offense to be a little bit more efficient through the air, but that's kind of what happens when you have a 7th round rookie, a 3rd string rookie in his second game that he was even active for. First game actually going in and playing, and prepared as a backup throughout the entire week. Like, he was good in the preseason.
Marcel,
this isn't
Tom
the preseason.
Brady. But Tom Brady, Marcel. But Tom Brady and Tom Brady and Tom Brady. What are you talking about, Marcel? That happens all the time in the league. 6th and 7th rounders come in and kick ass all the time, Marcel. What are you talking about, bro? Skyler should kick ass.
I'm not going to take anything away from Skylar Thompson's arm talent. There were a couple throws here, the one to Gesicki specifically, that were they were on the money. He has the arm talent, but this is not the preseason. And what they did, they threw a different look at him after halftime. And as you could see, his processing speed kind of slowed down there. He started to hang on to the ball for too long, started trying to make plays that weren't there, and did not protect the ball. That's what happened right behind me here when he was strip sacked. That essentially blew the game out of reach. I think I don't expect him to have to start against Minnesota next week. Teddy was not diagnosed with a concussion. It should be, in theory, easy for him to progress through concussion protocol if he is sans concussion. So I think at the baseline, Teddy should be back. But if not, and Skyler has to prepare as a starter throughout the week, I would assume that we would see a better version of Skylar Thompson come Sunday. But I mean, it's tough because even with a backup quarterback, and even with all these injuries, this was a game. It was a game you really not needed to win, but you really wanted to come out of MetLife with the dub. I know that you're playing with house money kind of at a certain point, but you really wanted to win this one to kick off this stretch of all winnable, fairly easy games. It's the easy slate of the schedule. This is when you wanted to see Miami start to hit its stride, and kind of sputtering into it on a 2-game losing streak, regardless of the situation, regardless of circumstances, is unfortunate. But I also want to say that my take on the concussion protocol here, on how it was applied today. Obviously, this sucks, man. If you're a Dolphins fan, you're angry. You're understandably angry. You're rightfully upset that somebody who cleared concussion protocol completely was ruled out because of the ataxia clause when a spotter thought he saw Teddy stumble. I don't want to take anything away from that. I would be mad if I was a fan of this team too. But the NFL told us yesterday it was going to err on the side of caution, that it was going to show an abundance of caution. And what that means is that sometimes players are going to be placed in a concussion protocol who do not have concussions, which, again, I'm going to say it again, that sucks for the team. That sucks when you lose your quarterback on the first snap of the game. It's unfortunate. But if the alternative here, and don't apply context here, just hear me out. If the alternative is putting a potentially concussed player back in the game and putting him in danger, this is going to be the lesser of two evils. It sucks. That's why it's still evil, but it is the lesser of two evils. So the protocol was applied as the NFL saw fit. I think the NFL accepted the fact that, yeah, sometimes guys are going to fall through the cracks. Sometimes we're going to place a guy in protocol who really just had a elbow injury, or maybe he just took a misstep on this crappy turf. Like maybe he slipped or something. But the alternative is what it just went through last week. You know, whether or not Tua was concussed, I'm saying any player being placed back in the game who maybe passed the evaluation because he could answer the questions, but it was a late showing concussion. If that's the alternative, this is the evil that the NFL is going to take. So you're rightfully upset, you're rightfully angry, but this is kind of the new normal now here. We might see some rule changes implemented. I think personally, you're going to need an emergency quarterback clause. You should be able to have an extra roster spot for a quarterback in case something like this does happen. Because I mean, Jesus, man, look, if the NFL does not want another Kendall Hinton game, they do not want that.
No,
nobody wants that because nobody's going to watch that. You might watch it and laugh for about 3 plays, and you're gonna be like, "This sucks. I'm gonna go play video games. I'm going to go outside."
Your third stringer will suck too anyway. So your second stringer, there's a good chance he's going to suck also. So it's not really going to save you, but at least they play that position. All right, now let me ask you two questions before I let you go. One, I can give the team a break because I know that they were behind the 8 ball completely without Tua, the tackles, the corner, without the 2 starting corners. It just changes everything that you have to do on defense. The one thing that I cannot continue to give a break is, where the hell is the pass rush? You got your 2 sacks from a safety and a linebacker. The defensive ends are not doing their jobs. The defensive line is not doing their job, and it doesn't matter what team they're facing. They are not putting enough pressure on the quarterback. That is the one thing that I will be incredibly critical on. Your thoughts on that?
Yeah, the sack numbers obviously are not there. Right. The pressure numbers were incredible. They're incredible against Buffalo. They had a lot of opportunities to do so, but 26 pressures is still 26 pressures. I'm not blown away. I don't freak out and fret over low sack numbers though, because I think sacks are misleading. They're not always indicative of a successful pass rush. They're just indicative of a pass rush finishing the job, like completing the play. But a successful pass rush is anytime you make the quarterback get rid of the ball before he's comfortable doing so. And that is really what this defense is predicated on, not necessarily bringing the quarterback down.
Negative yards is important too.
It's
yards,
important.
Fumbles.
It is important. It is the most successful pass rush. The most successful pass rush is a sack, but that it's not the successful pass rush. I think if you force the quarterback to get the ball out of his hands quick and take a check down instead of allowing a route to develop, or force him to throw into a tight window and one of your ball hawks comes away with it and you create a turnover like that, I'm just saying there are multiple examples of a successful pass rush. And like some factors that you can look into to see if something's going to even out is pass rush win rate, where the last time I checked, I'm going to have to go upstairs and recheck it and I'll tweet it out. But the last time I checked, the Dolphins were in the top 10 in that category. And then pressure rate, where again, the Dolphins were in the top 15, I think 16, top half of the league in that category as well. Because if you're creating pressures and you're winning your pass rushes, then before long, the sacks are going to come. Like I said, you're going to progress to the mean. But if you're not winning your rushes and you're not even creating pressures and your sack numbers are low, that's when you know, okay, there's a significant problem here. I think they have the players to do so. They have the players to create pressure on a quarterback. They have the players to have a successful pass rush. It's a matter of letting the natural order kind of restore here. And sometimes you got to get creative. That's why we saw Brandon Jones right here drag down Zach Wilson. Like this is not something new. You know what I mean? Like this is a fix. This was something that they did frequently last year. Javon Holland and Brandon Jones led all defensive backs last season in pass rushes and in pressures and in sacks. Like they do this a lot. I don't think we have seen it as much this year, especially with Holland. I think they're using him a lot more as kind of like that deep safety center fielder.
No, but I want it natural, dude. I want it from Agba. I want it from Phillips. You know, I want Sealer to get in there. I want Wilkins to get in there. I want some guys that are supposed to be, you know, harassing the quarterback a little bit more. I don't see enough of it, man, and that's a concern. Like today was the day to get after this kid and force him into a mistake or two, you know, and I felt bad for that they couldn't get that. Now, one more thing, Teron Armstead. I don't know, dude. I don't know anything, but I just get a feeling this thing is taking a turn for the worse.
Yes.
So, yeah, go ahead. Your thoughts?
Yes. I mean, it's not taking a turn for the better. Like, so I'm not going to sit here and say he's out for the season now. Like, expect the hell to break loose. But they did schedule an appointment for him in New York where he's going to see a specialist. He's not returning back to Miami with the team. He is going to stay in New York and go to that appointment. It was something I think they were prepared to deal with for the entirety of the season. It showed today that that's not going to be possible, that they're going to have to find a fix for this ASAP. I wouldn't be shocked if they sit him for a week at least. I wouldn't be surprised just to see if naturally healing will help. I don't know what, you know, scheduling an appointment like this. I don't see a way that you can do that and expect the doctor to say, you're fine, keep playing on it. Like, no, they're probably going to say, like, you might need surgery, you might need to rest on it, you might need this or that. The most logical explanation here is that he probably misses some amount of time. I don't know if it's going to be extended. I think it's too early to speculate, but he probably misses some amount of time.
Does he know they have steel toe boots?
I don't know if those are even allowed on the field, man. I think that somebody would find a way to take advantage of that, man. But it'd be nice to get some protection on the cleat. I think Tyreek Hill would love that too, man. He got stepped on pretty good today. He left the locker room in a walking boot, which in and of itself is not necessarily a dangerous sign. Like, walking boots are used pretty liberally in the NFL. Like, it's just precautionary. At least that's what our understanding of it is.
Listen, what we do is we create a GoFundMe page, right, directed at Randall Hill, and we like deposit in an off-seas account. Since Randall, I think, is Randall Hill still the fashion police there at the stadium for the players?
I have no idea,
right?
Man.
Nat Moore used to be Nat Moore for years used to be the fashion police, and I know Randall Hill's the fashion police. I don't know I think he is the fashion police still. Where he goes down there and goes, oh, yep, that's not the proper belt there. No, that's not Gucci.
Yeah,
and
those
so,
socks are not. Those socks are too low.
That's it. They're not Fendi. You're out of here. So what we do is we have a GoFundMe page. We send, maybe some overseas Bitcoin to Randall Hill's account, and he overlooks Teron Armstead when Teron's now on the road games. We have no, we're going to have to find out who the guys are on the road. That'll be different. But at least in the home games, I think we can rig it by paying off Randall Hill. I'm just saying. I'm trying to help here, bro. I was trying to help the Canes. I was trying to help the Canes by kidnapping Aronde's kid from Syracuse and bringing him down to the University of Miami. They need a receiver. What the hell's Aronde's kid doing freezing his ass in New York? Come on, man. Bring him over here. I'm just trying to help, man. I'm just trying to help.
Thinking outside the box. But
just a little outside the box. That's all. So yeah, I'm just afraid that I'm about to hear Teron Armstead surgery done for the year. I'm kind of terrified of that.
Look, like I said, too early to responsibly speculate beyond what I said before, which is I think the reasonable expectation is that he misses some amount of time. I'm not saying multiple weeks. I'm not saying multiple weeks. I'm just saying, if you think this is a big enough problem to schedule a meeting with the specialist where your team captain is not traveling home with the team,
not so good.
It's not a good sign. It's good for his long-term health. Like, it's good for Teron. Like, it's the first step toward his toe hopefully getting healthy. But as far as the team playing with their best offensive lineman on the field, it's not a good sign. I don't know if I'm calling it explicitly bad, but it's not great.
How long have you been in this business?
Define business, covering the NFL or in journalism period?
Covering the NFL.
This is season number 5, I think.
Okay, this will be
Season 5.
I'm completing 33. I'm thinking about this. Give me an in-season toe injury that ended up well.
A lot of it is pain tolerance, and you got to use your toe a lot. It's hard to tolerate. You can only tolerate it for so long.
I don't remember anybody recovering from it inside a season. Is my point.
But I mean, I did just see somebody sit out a whole year with a finger.
90-something%, it becomes a detriment to that player's season the entire time. Now that I'm thinking about this, and I'm going, man, I don't remember a guy that had a toe injury in the middle of the season, and all of a sudden he got healthy by halfway the season or 3 quarters.
I mean, that's hard. Like I don't know how to kick my feet like an offensive lineman, but if I'm just naturally going backwards on either foot, that's a lot of pressure there on the ball of your foot, and ultimately, what I assume is just big toe. Like it's not like.
Well, no, and then when you collide, you then need to use those toes to then use leverage to push back.
He is a big guy. That's a lot of force right there on that toe every single snap, and moving so quickly. And one misstep, if it's a twinge of pain and you react to that pain, these are freak athletes, man. These are the best athletes in the world at defensive end. You hesitate a little bit, they're going right by you, and your quarterback is toast. So yeah, it is something that, look, they tried to push through it and try to be a tough guy about it. It's respectable, it's commendable. It's still early enough in the season that it's not going to be the complete end of the world if he doesn't play right now. But it is something that I think if you schedule a specialist to go into the city and stay overnight and get looked at, it's not a great thing. It's not a great sign. So, Dolphins fans, hope for the best here. And also hope that Austin Jackson can be activated this week, because Greg Little has not held down the fort. There's been a drop. Let's say that. There's been a decline from Austin Jackson to Greg Little. I'm trying to be nice. I'm trying to be respectful here.
Yeah, and sadly, the Teron Armstead is trending in the direction of a bad signing. And listen, we all knew he was injury prone, and unfortunately, it's been right from the get-go, and it hasn't been.
I'm not going to say trending in the direction of a bad signing. I think that's jumping to conclusions a little too early.
It's trending
because he is still the value that Teron Armstead brings goes beyond the football field. So it's not like that toe injury and he's just going to disappear forever. His leadership is gone.
Brother,
like,
if he ain't on the football field, he ain't worth it.
Like,
period.
Forget about it's not worth $65 million just to be a good guy in the locker room. Of course not. But I'm saying that he is not valueless. He is not worthless if he is not playing. You knew he was injury prone when you signed him. So this shouldn't be that big of a surprise. You would have hoped that if he had to get injured, like you would assume, okay, it's late in the season or like after some wear and tear. But I don't know. Like I said, I guess if you're going to sustain a multiple week injury, I guess you would probably prefer it to be early in the year, right? So that you can heal up for the end of the year and possibly the playoffs. Like their focus right now should be getting him healthy, getting him right, and making sure he is ready for that final stretch. Because if you don't have Teron Armstead in December, when you got to play the 49ers, who had Matt Stafford in hell with backup offensive linemen on Monday, and then you got to play the Chargers with Khalil Mack. I think Bosa's out for the season, but still Khalil Mack. Then you got to go play the Bills in Buffalo, and then you got to play the Packers on Christmas. You don't want to do that with backup linemen. You don't want to do that with hurt linemen. You want Teron Armstead healthy. So, yeah, bite the bullet now. Get them healed up, whatever it takes, and hope that it's a quick and speedy and efficient, effective recovery.
I hope so, because this one's scaring me. Toes scare me, bro. Gone through watching Oronde down the stretch, OJ McDuffie, Zonka. I've seen several players go through that toe stuff, and it is just a crippling thing for them when it's all said and done. All right, follow him on Twitter at Marcel_LJ. Marcel, as always, thank you, my friend. Appreciate you.
Yes, sir.
You got it. And don't forget, myedgedrink.com, the finest energy drink on the planet. You can't get it in a store. You got to go online, myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O and save 10% off right there. Big O. Use the code myedgedrink.com. Delicious, smooth, and zero aftertaste. That's the beautiful part about it. Okay. It's great that it's delicious. It's awesome that it's smooth, but all these stinking sports drinks, they have aftertaste, and I hate that. And Edge has no aftertaste, zero aftertaste. It is outstanding, and only 78 calories, and a great elixir. Just was drinking on Friday with a little vodka. So go to myedgedrink.com. Use our code Big O. Get 10% off.
You now have the edge on the Miami Dolphins with the Edge Energy Drink Miami Dolphins Report featuring ESPN's Marcel Louis-Jacques. Get the energy drink that's delicious and smooth with zero aftertaste. You can only order Edge Energy Drink at myedgedrink.com. That's myedgedrink.com.
It's an interesting, let's say, it's an interesting position as a fan, as a team, when you sign a free agent. And when that free agent gets to your town and they are a decorated free agent, right? And Ndamukong Suh. Okay, that's great. Doesn't mean shit when you sign here. I don't care what you did with the Lions, bro. Did you really make a difference here? No. Did you make the defense great? No. Was it a stupid signing? Yeah. Because it never met, because the production never matched the salary, never even come close. You paid him like he was an exceptional pass rusher, which he was never been an exceptional pass rusher. Aaron Donald and Warren Sapp from that position were exceptional pass rushers. He's not. He's serviceable as a pass rusher from there. Not more than that. And you paid him a ridiculous amount. So when you pay Kyle Lowry $30 million a year, brother, I don't give a shit what you did in Toronto. What are you doing for the Miami Heat? Oh, what I saw was a guy that was out of shape, looked like me, and couldn't run the offense the way you needed it. Dude, I don't care what you did for Toronto. Great for the Toronto fans. God bless you, man. But you want $30 million a year here? Well, then you got to produce. And so, a lot of people would, like what Marcel was talking about Teron Armstead, the player, the stature, all that. That's great, bro. But just like Tyreek Hill or Connor Williams, it's about what you do on the field. Miami is getting their money's worth from Connor Williams and more, and Tyreek, they have not gotten their returns from Teron Armstead. That's the bottom line. That's the honest truth. Okay? He has not practiced enough to help this team prepare and be the best it can be, because he can't. That's a negative right away. They can sell you all the bullshit about, well, he's a veteran, he knows his stuff, and he doesn't have to practice much during the week. That's bullshit, dude. Okay? That's crap. All right? And I'm for everybody over there, but please don't. I'm just not just don't go yanking my chain, bro. I wasn't born yesterday. Okay? So Teron Armstead has been a disappointment to them inside the building, and they have to say it. You're not going to be perfect, man. This front office is exceptional. They've done a great job overall. And you'll probably be able to get out of this contract in another year and take a minimal cap hit and you move on, and that's it. Screw it. But it is a problem. It is a problem because if you're not available, with Tua, if he can learn to get rid of the football, he's going to save himself a lot of pain and rehab and then a lot of grief for his team and his family. Teron Armstead, he can't stay on the field. So let's not get mistaken. When someone goes to a new team and they sign the deal, they now have and are held to a responsibility to live up to that contract. And if you don't live up to it, I'm sorry. I have to say it's trending in the wrong direction. I would be a phony to tell you, oh no, this Teron Armstead deal is, looking good. No, it's not. It's looking terrible. Terrible. He's done a serviceable job here. He hasn't done an excellent job here. That's what they're paying him. They're paying him to be excellent. It's the difference. So let's call it like we see it here. And that's one of the things that changes. Kevin Beal, thank you, sir. Hey, Sean, I don't know if you can start from the beginning of some of the super chats. I'd love to, while I got a couple of things. I'm tired of this narrative that we were down by 2 points with 10 minutes in the fourth quarter. If Saunders makes the field goal, we're up by 1, we might win the game. Yeah. What I don't like, Kevin, is that, they got their ass kicked and trashed, this and that. Brother, they were there in the game for 3 quarters. It just came apart. Deep down inside, come on, man. They're gone with their corners and their tackles, and they're on their third quarterback. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if I have to give the team legitimate excuses. Okay? You want to call me an excuse maker? Whatever, fine. You want to call me a homer? Go ahead. I'm a big boy. Let's see. I know what I see overall, and it just, break, dude. This was, I was impressed with them today to be able to hang in there with what was just absolutely going to tear them apart. I thought that was all right. Age 360. If it helps Tua get back on the field, I can change my official complaint from of Tua from injury prone to watching games from the house. Thank you, AH360. I appreciate you on the super chats there. Thank you. And by the way, remember, Cash App or Venmo. We will read your comments also if you want to make a donation through Cash App or Venmo. Cash Big O Show. That is Cash Big O Show on Cash App or Venmo. Steve M., a bad defensive performance today. I saw very little linebacker play. DE, lose containment. DBs can't tackle, and way too many penalties. Yeah, the penalties, I agree with you, Steve. It was tough, and it was a tough defensive performance. I get that. In the fourth quarter, they made mistakes. They gave them short fields, the turnovers. Yeah, it was tough. It was tough. I'll give you that. There's no doubt about it. And the defensive ends, if there's one complaint I have today, the defensive ends have to do a better job of getting after the quarterback week in and week out, man. All right? Everybody's hitting Miami's quarterbacks. You guys got to do a better job. And I know Miami's quarterbacks sometimes help the opposition by holding on to the ball for 5 seconds and 4 seconds. But still, you've got to get to the quarterback. You've got to do your part. Jeffrey Creighton, what about Wilson Jr.? He's been hurt and non-existent. Could this be a one-and-done year for him once Easy-E develops? I see him playing this year. Well, the problem is that with Cedric, you have the other two guys that are, I think, if I'm correct, didn't they sign Cedric before they signed Tyreek? Okay, I think that's what happened, guys. I don't think they would have signed Cedric if they had Tyreek first. Tyreek became available, and then it didn't stop them from doing it. So it would have been Waddle and Cedric, okay? That would have been your 1-2. But then when Tyreek became available, what do you want him to do? That this is where sometimes you guys are playing the results, and it's lazy, and it's not right to criticize somebody because Cedric now doesn't get as many. Like, what third receiver is getting a crap ton thrown to him? You know what I mean? There's not a lot of combinations like that. So, and they throw to other people too. So that they kind of spread it out. When Tua's there, he spreads it out to everybody. All the tight ends are getting it, backs are getting it, all the receivers are getting it, but mainly Hill and Waddle, because Who's going to turn these plays into bigger plays? Hill and Waddle. Okay? So that's a little unfair there. Rick DeMan or D-Man says if Tua, X, and Jones was out there, it would be a different game. What is Cam talking about? There will be no 40-23. I know. I thought Cam was too harsh. And to compare the Buffalo situation to this, it's ridiculous. Love Cam. Love you guys out there because you've done the same shit. Oh, well, how about Buffalo? Buffalo had Josh Allen, bro. Okay? All right? Give me Tua, and then I won't give you any excuses, and we're fine. Because Miami would have won today if they have Tua. Miami would have kicked the Jets' ass because he would have given them the lead, and then that defense is much better with the lead, which I don't think people understand that part. Next one there, Sean, on the super chat. Give me the next one there. We are ready. See, I got one here. Eric Echeverria, is Tua coming back next week? Talks as if he'll miss. I don't know. Eric, we're all guessing, my brother. My guess is he comes back next week. Now, this hurries it up. I thought it would be the Pittsburgh game. That's my original guess. If he comes back next week, by the way, I'm wrong. Okay? But I was thinking Pittsburgh and Teddy Two Gloves plays against Minnesota. We'll see. But I'm wondering if this shit show in the fourth quarter sped it up. Like, yeah, no, we can't count on Teddy either. Tua, you feel great. All right, let's go. Zero Seth, thank you for the love in the super chat. Are you beginning to have concerns with McDaniel? No, dude, I love McDaniel. I loved him even more today. What are you talking about? It was a close game for 3 quarters. I'm good with McDaniel, man. Any chance we take another run at DC Vic Fangio? Eric, he retired already. Thank you for the super chat, but he retired. He gone, as they say. All right. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show if you want to get in. Eric's, no, I already got that one. I already got the Vic Fangio one. We just read that one. So it looks like we're caught up then. All right, good. That is good. I'm glad we are caught up. Sean Payton, come on down. No, I don't want Sean Payton. He thought Teddy Bridgewater is better than Tua. He can get lost. And any of you, by the way, if you want my okay, hey, Cater, are you saying Kadura? Are you saying fire Mike McDaniel? Please do that on the next text right there on the chat board. Please say you want to fire Mike McDaniel. Please let me find texts that say fire Mike McDaniel right now. I want to see those. I'd love to see those. Do we have those? I mean, really, I want to see those.
I saw some fire Boyer, but no fire McDaniel.
Okay, fire him and Greer. Okay, there we go. All right, let's go. Let's go. Kadura, you can block him also right there. Next, any more? Let's go. Come on, let's go. Bring it. Let's go. Bring it. Come on, let's go. I want to see stupidity. Because you know what? I need to just block it so I don't have to deal with it anymore. Because if you're that effing stupid that you want to fire McDaniel, I don't want you on this platform. I don't need you commenting on this platform.
There's David Iglesias that said.
He did? Where is he? Where's he?
Where's he at?
Where is he?
He's up there. 5:55 was when he made the comment. If you can see the times.
Oh, yeah? Let's see where he's at. Let's see. 5:55. Where is Iglesias? Let me read the stupid ass comment.
Right after Christopher Henry.
Where is it? 5:55. Damn, a lot of them come in. Where is the Iglesias guy?
I put it up on the screen so you can see it.
Okay, block his ass. Boom. Block his ass. Right there. Stupidity will be blocked. That's all. See you, David. You're done. So yeah, we'll do that, bro. We'll just get rid of you clowns. That's all. Pretty simple. You're the same idiots that want to start Skyler. Where are you now? Where are you idiots that wanted to start Skyler? Come on, man. At least have the balls if you're a man or a woman, okay? The chutzpah. And just say, yeah, that was pretty stupid on my part. Come on, smartasses. Where are you? Let's go. I hope you sat down and like, yeah, man. Oh, that was stupid on my part. Just think about this. You were expecting a 7th round pick out of Kansas State who has no experience. Why? Because of Tom Brady? Is that what it is again? You're going to use Tom Brady, right? Think about that. Did you watch the kid today? Of course he's got arm talent. Arm talent doesn't make you a quarterback. And if you think he can't play, you're also an idiot. Because it's not fair to judge this young man. He needs time. He needs coaching. He needs to learn defenses at this level. They're going to confuse the crap out of him. That's what some of us that actually follow the sport tried to explain to you. The best part is you had even former players that thought it's a good idea to play Skyler. Those are my favorite. The people that actually played the game don't know a goddamn thing. That's always funny as hell. Former players saying, oh, no. Yeah, no, playing Skyler's a good idea. I get it, brother. I get that his physical talents, the Lord blessed him with better physical talents than Teddy Bridgewater. But Teddy Bridgewater's mind is light years ahead of the guy. So his limitations will still be good enough to be serviceable. But Skyler, because he doesn't have the knowledge, he will end up failing and making mistakes because it's normal that if you're Kenny Pickett, even a first-round pick, that you're going to throw 3 picks. Okay? What did Pickett do today, by the way? I hope he played better. I like the kid. But again, growing pains. People are, 3 picks. I'm like, so what? It's what young guys do. And he's a gunslinger. So he's going to take some chances. So he's one of those guys that will have to like go through some growing pains. But I think he'll be fine eventually. But you don't give up. Some guy on Twitter goes, oh, yeah, Skyler doesn't have it. I'm like, why? Because you thought he could start, right? The unrealistic expectations. So now some of you are pissed at Skyler because you were stupid. Because you thought Skyler could play at the NFL level because he faked out 3rd and 4th stringers in a preseason game where they don't scheme at all. So that convinced you that Skyler was second coming, Tommy Brady. So, yes.
34 of 52 for 327 yards, 6.3 average, QBR of 57.1. He was sacked 3 times and an interception.
Okay. How many touchdowns?
0.
Okay. All right.
They lost 38-3. Buffalo jumped on them early. It was.
Oh yeah, they did. They did jump on them early.
It was a lot of passing going on because they were trying to play from behind.
They're trying to catch up. Yeah. Growing pains, man. Growing pains. You got to give the kid time, bro. I used to get frustrated with Omar about that too. Some of you have no patience. So McDaniel today, now you want him fired? I mean, what kind of a moron are you? He did a marvelous job. 3 quarters, that was a game. Yeah, it got out of hand. It was ugly. I get it. It's the Jets. It sucks. But be a little bit more realistic about where you're at, man. Please. The new protocol will be used to punish the Dolphins. Can you imagine the NFL not allowing Josh Allen to go back into a game? Hypocrites. Well, we'll see if it happens, but the new rule's not made to punish the Dolphins. Zero Seth. I love you for the super chat. Thank you, but it's not me. It's just a PR move by the NFL now that they've got exposed with their terrible protocols again. And so now they got to sell it to the public that they care and they're protecting and yada, 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 and all that crap, dude. That's all that's going on. That's all this ever is. Those owners up in the boxes, they don't give a shit, dude. They're just counting money. And they're looking at what's plus, what's minus, and what can I do to avoid the minuses so I have more pluses on my side and more money in my pocket. That's all they give a shit about. The rest of this is window dressing. Like I told you, is the doctor that's got fired suing? Is the NFLPA suing the doctor? Is the NFL suing the doctor? Is Tua suing the doctor? Are there any lawsuits whatsoever since you pretty much accused of malpractice because one side says, no, you follow protocol. The other side says, no, you didn't. So if you didn't and you put somebody at a health risk, shouldn't you sue them? Shouldn't there be a lawsuit, ladies and gentlemen? If you're the doctor and you were wrongfully fired, wouldn't you want to sue to clear your name? Or since we don't know the name, doesn't come out, nobody finds out, were you paid off and given a confidentiality agreement signing and move on and everybody's happy and they get to play their PR game? We fired them. Come on, man. I'm not born yesterday. If you guys want to fall for all this stuff, then you can go ahead and fall for it. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that. Eric says, and thank you for the super chat, Eric. What's going on with our tackling? What drills are we doing noticeably different from the past couple of years? Same DC. We're missing one-on-ones. Yeah, no. They were bad. They were bad. Can't argue with you there, my brother. Leon Fresco, Phillips and Holland not yet at the next level. Well, Holland is a player and a half. Phillips still not at the next level. I would agree with you there, but Holland, I'm big, dude. Mark Jean-Baptiste sends in a super chat and says, I'm one of the idiots who wanted Skyler over Teddy. I was wrong. Look, see, that's a man with balls right there. He's been a long-time listener. He gets the show. He gets the show. Don DeJula says, Big O, right about the concussion issue, PR stuff. Yeah. Let's window dress it now. Sell it, sell it, sell it. We've got 5 doctors. Oh, yeah. Directors. Shine the camera on those doctors checking out the screen. Boom. That shot goes around everywhere, sending it. Oh, yeah, no. Did you see they had 4 or 5 doctors at the game last night? Score. Play the game, baby. Everybody play the game of scam. That's all it is. Nothing's changed from the days of the gladiators. Everybody was cheering and the royalty was in their boxes and they were dragging the gladiators out after they were dead or watching the lions pick them apart. They're still cheering. You're still cheering, watching them collide and all that stuff, but they don't get dragged out sometimes on a stretcher like Tua. But a lot of times it happens all behind the scenes. That's where they fade away into all kinds of issues and diseases, and nobody ever cares. And you move on. Things change, dude. We just try to dress it up differently to try to, appease the public now. That's all, to sell it. Meanwhile, just turn on the UFC and there's somebody just getting pummeled in the face. Bah, 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 bah. And you think there aren't concussions going on there? Nobody gives a shit. Yes, sir.
Well, one thing I will say with the difference in the box, I know they kind of brought it up at the thing, but it's an automatic 30 to 45-day suspension from training once you're knocked out, or even if you take too much punishment. Even in those fights where the guy looks like, again, during the fight, they don't check for concussion.
That's my
But
point,
afterwards-
bro.
But my thing is this, though. What if they said, okay, Tua can't play football for 3 months because of the concussions he just had? That would have happened in the UFC. He wouldn't have been able to fight or anything.
Yeah, but
But
you fight like every couple of months anyways, as it is. You have a rest period anyway.
You can't train. When you're suspended, your license is suspended.
Right,
You can't train. So that means Tua couldn't go to the facility or anything else. That's how they kind of, again, it's all dressing it up, but that's how they don't do it during the fight, because then they suspend them after the fight where they can't even train or anything else.
Meanwhile, during that 5-round championship fight,
he
probably had 2 or 3 concussions during that fight.
Yeah, 100%. But their fail
What are
safe
we
is,
doing?
yeah,
What
their
are we
fail
doing?
safe is we take them out for 3 months afterwards to allow them to heal. Whereas in NFL, they were back in, again, as soon as the play is over.
What are we doing?
Oh, window dressing.
Yes. Edward Thurston. Do you know Thurston Howell is the real question. Skylar Thompson has no zip on the ball. Now, he has zip on the ball. What you weren't really paying attention to, he was trying to put touch on certain passes. And so he was trying to hold back a little bit. And again, he's not practicing with the number ones. He's not in timing. He's not, in any kind of rhythm and all that. You're just asking him to come cold off the bench. Like, the game just started. I got to play. It's not easy, man. Yes, sir.
No, I was gonna say, I wonder how much he even took in practice this week, because with Teddy normally not taking reps, he had to probably get more reps. So even though he was the backup, how many reps was he actually getting in this week?
Still, man, it's just he's not really. It's not fair to him.
He's not. But again, it goes back to he's just not ready there. He's not there yet. He's not there
of
yet.
course not. Of course he's not going to be there, ladies and gentlemen. Be kind. Rewind. Frankie Fresco, Big O, you think Teddy would have done better? Yes, he would have done better. Yes, he would have done better. There's no doubt in my mind he would have done better. You would have had better options with him. He has a better understanding of defenses. He knows exactly once they're in a formation, he's going to be able to decipher it right away, where Skylar is not. Teddy can already picture the routes running, the coverages, so he's already anticipating who's going to be open. These are things that Skylar cannot do. Okay? And Teddy probably played against Robert Salah at one point or another. You know what I mean? Maybe he has some information, and whoever Salah's disciple, whoever he's a disciple of, Teddy may know. So he may know tendencies. These are things that you guys are you're taking for granted experience. And again, Tommy Brady. Leon says, last point, NFL needs to allow 53 to dress. Well, that's been from the get-go, but that's insurance and money. More people active, more money they spend. That's how it goes. Benjamin Gonzalez, thank you for the love in the super chat. He says, wasn't the problem defense more than offense? It was everything. You were kind of out of gas on many different ways, my brother. This was just a rough outing overall, is what it was. And it was a fourth quarter that was disastrous, and everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. Eric Echevarria, thank you for the super chat. We're still going to the playoffs. I'm more convinced now than ever. 4 quarters is where we run up the scoreboard with Tua, Tua combo. I'm loving it. I'm with you. I'm not going to sit here and, wallow in my beer and be all pissed. It sucks that they lost. It sucks that they're 3-2. It sucks that they lost to the Jets. I'm with you on all of that. But you give me a healthy Dolphins team, and I think this is a different team, and I think they're winning most of the games they have left. It's just a matter of getting Tua back, and damn it, take care of yourself, brother. Take care of yourself. That, to me, is what it's all about. Get your corners back. Hopefully you can get X back. You got to get Byron Jones back. And you got to get Austin Jackson back at least to help you out a little bit. I don't know what the hell is going on with Teron Armstead. I would be terrified of the Teron Armstead situation. I'm telling you that right now. Absolutely terrified of the Teron Armstead situation. Oh yeah. I that one just kind of rubs me the wrong way, like we're going to get the worst news possible. Remember, the show always continues on Twitter at Big O Show. Follow us there. You can also always reach out to us on the Welt and Rayom text line at 855-912-1056 to Extreme on the Welt and Rayom. He says, I really hope all of you Skylar Thompson junkies got your fill with this game. Maybe now you can see he's not ready for the NFL defenses yet. Also, Teddy needs to look at more coaching than being a player because he just doesn't bring any juice whatsoever as a player. Well, I tried to explain that to people that, remember, by the way, where are all those people that said Teddy Bridgewater was going to take the job away from Tua? Any of you all want to show up too? I bet you there's a lot of the people that said Teddy would take it away from Tua, and they also said Skylar should start. I bet you a lot of you that have friends, the friends that said Teddy's going to take away the job from Tua, and we heard that a lot in the offseason. Even idiots like Sean Payton actually thought that until he was thoroughly embarrassed. And like maybe other coaches called Sean Payton and said, hey, Sean, are you doing drugs? Well, no. Did you just say Teddy Bridgewater is better than Tua? Yeah. You sure about that? You sure? Scott, it reminds me of that scene from what's the guy's name with like I think it's like he's got his last name's got like an O. He had that show he was on and Live Free Die Hard when he looks at the guy and McLean's daughter is like stepping on his foot, hitting him and he's like, you got her? You sure? You sure? That's what I felt like. What Oliphant, right? Right? Oliphant is the guy's name, right? You sure? You sure? I bet you're gonna go, damn, dude. Yeah, my buddy thought Teddy was gonna win, and he wanted Skylar. I mean, think about that. Think about the guy that thought Tannehill could play. Teddy was going to take over for Tua. Skylar also would take over for Tua. Start Skylar now. Trade for Jimmy Garoppolo. All those, and Tua can't play. Do you have a friend that said all those things? I want to meet him. I want to have some fun with that person. Big O, it's a long season. Nobody will remember week 5 and week 16. Saints win with Dalton. Let's hope Jameis doesn't come back. Who dat? Thank you, sir. Appreciate you. On the Welt and Rayom text line, 855-912-1056. Big O, the defense needs to step up today, and anything but. The tackling was the worst I've seen in a long time. Javon Holland is regressing. Can't tackle. Looks like a guy who doesn't want to get his uniform dirty. Wow. Javon Holland went from being an excellent player to a bum. One game changes people. Oh, this is why you can't say the Jets are as bad as you thought. Our team is down for the count. The Jets are terrible, dude. The Jets are terrible. Miami hung with them for 3 quarters. And then they made all the mistakes and gave that game away. I'm not sure what you guys were watching, but I'm not sitting there going, oh, my God, this was so bad. How well does a healthy Tua do today, all things being the same with the O-line and the defense giving up 40? Did he have Tyreek last year? No. He's got him this year with Waddle, right? And he's got a couple fast backs. I'll take my chances. Last time I checked, he still won more than he lost with shit the first couple of years. Okay? Remember that. He won more than he lost with shit. Now he's got some juice. I'll take my chances. I'm a Tua guy. I'll take my chances. Let's see. What's next here? Big O, where was Alec Ingold? Didn't see much of Alec Ingold. Don't know what the game plan was. Excuses are valid, especially at the QB position. James Baker, by the way, with the super chat. Thank you, sir. If Tua's our franchise guy and he's not out there, that's valid. Franchise QBs win games. Amen. Amen. Can't argue with any of that. You know? What can I tell you? Don't forget, folks, to smash the hell out of the like button, please. And also hit the notification bell. That way you know when the platform goes live for any show. Can add fuel to the Herbert guys by pointing out both teams are 3-2. LOL. Mel B Crazy says, wish we bring Jay Cutler back. LOL. Yeah, Mal, you be crazy. There's no doubt about that. The Jets caught all teams that they beat with their primary players were hurt, and they're in a route. The Jets aren't that good right now. They've got some nice players. They've got some talent on the team. I will say that, but they're not a good team right now. I'm not really impressed with them. Michelle says, we need our players healthy again. That shall be the next game. I believe we should make the playoffs. Last time the Miami Dolphins was in the playoffs was back in 2008. We missed Tua. No, actually, they made it in 16 with Adam Gase. They have a tendency of making it like every 8 years, 2016, 2008, 2001, or 2 or something, you know. So it's something like that. It's kind of like every 8 years. And so 16 was the last time. And now they're going to break the streak and make it before 8, which is awesome. JP, thank you for the love in the super chat. The fan base will realize how hard it is to find a QB who can play at the level of Tua reached during the Ravens game. Even with experience, coaching, and a good supporting cast, Skyler will never be Tua. Because you have to be able to see the game, see through different windows, anticipate what's happening. Those are the things that Tua can do. You know, it's like what is it? Access, right? Is that camera angle that they do and they turn around? That's what the great quarterbacks that have vision, right? And I'm not saying Tua is a great quarterback, but he does have great vision, and the vision is different. They see it. They see the whole play develop. They see where the safety is going to be and all those kind of things. And that's why they have the anticipatory skills to throw it to a spot where they expect the player to be and not the defender. It's a gift. And not all quarterbacks have it. So that's why I tell you that. Marino Castillo, thank you, sir. If Armstead is out for the season, does trading for a tackle become a viable option? Yeah, maybe you use Gesicki for it. If there's one, I mean, you know, Marino, there has to be one available. It's so, you know, fans say, hey, let's go sign a center. Who's out there? Nobody's out there. J.C. Treader retired. He doesn't want to play. Hey, let's go get a running back. Who's out there? So really, who's going to be out there at left tackle? That's the problem. That if Tehran is gone, they've already signed a couple. Think about it. What's out there is worse than what you have already. It's not going to. This is why the whole thing, remember at the beginning in the offseason, well, if Tua gets hurt and Teddy, and I kept telling you, if Tua gets hurt, the season's done. And I'm not joking. Tua needs to come back because there is no quarterback that's going to save this season. not Teddy, and certainly not Skyler. It's just not fair. So let's not expect a tackle to be out there unless someone happens to have a starting tackle that is their third tackle on a team. That's really hard. And if it's a contender, they may want to keep them just for, contending purposes. And do they need, let's say, a Gesicki? John C., still recovering from Ian. Had to listen to the game versus watch. Tough. I've noticed the pattern of running backs hurting our D versus tight ends. Let's shut that down. It was brutal today, man, all the way around. Andrew Moore says, your eye is better than mine, but did they do much zero blitzing today? No, they didn't do nearly as much, and I thought they would. I don't know why. That was their decision, but you need with your front, your base, you need to get there. You need to get there with the base. Okay? Like G Money said, they came back for the base. You got to do it with the base. Mau El Caballero, Big O, you think fans' offense play calling was too conservative today? Well, did you watch the quarterback? What, are you going to open it up with a third stringer that would look like a deer in headlights? What more do you want, dude? It was a tight game through three quarters. It's a 2-point game after three quarters. So fourth quarter, they killed him. That's all it was. Nothing else. Mostert is the only good back on the roster, and he's also injury prone, crossing my fingers and toes. Watch out, you might pull that toe. Does anybody have a spare toe to lend to Ron Armstead? Maybe we can do that. I wanted to steal Rondé's kid, kidnap him from Syracuse, bring him down to Miami. I'm thinking now we get him a fresh toe. Let's do that. Tua is extremely undersized and gets thrown around like a ragdoll by average-sized NFL D lineman. He's going to get hit again. Can he withstand it? I don't know, JB Smooth. Dun, dun, dun. I don't know. Can he stand it? We're going to find out, JB. Tune in to the next time Tua Tagovailoa takes the field. Can he take a hit? It's brought to you by Edge Energy Drink. Go to myedgedrink.com. Use the code Big O. Get 10% off. I love it. Let me see. Sosa says, Alex Dono never admitted he was wrong, saying Teddy wouldn't be a downgrade. I don't know. Did he say, did Dono say that? I don't know if you guys are messing with me. I love Dono. I think he was, I do know this. He wasn't a Tua guy. So he's definitely wrong about Tua. So I don't know if he's admitted that yet. And maybe it's still early for some of the Tua disbelievers. I don't know if he actually said the craziness of not a drop off to Teddy. That's, well, we all get things wrong. So if he did say it, then yeah, he was dead ass wrong. Dougie Fresh says, Big O, we have lots of toes on the Panhandle Factory Direct toes, cutting out the middleman and bringing discount toes to the Factory Direct. That's it. We need it. We need it. We need some spare toes. And what we'll do is we got to make it like interchangeable for Armstead. So it's kind of like if the current toe we install gets messed up, we got to get him some spares. And what we'll do is he'll carry it around in this, this little contraption that keeps him, fresh and frozen. So that way, if he suffers another injury, he just, and then right in. That's it. Pop one toe out, pop another toe in. Kind of like, when our G.I. Joes. And so, you had to get it get that ball in there and then it moves fine. And that's what we'll do. We'll create like a ball and we'll connect his toe and he'll be just fine. And we'll give him multiple toes. That's it. I think that would solve the issue. We get that, and then we remember for Tua, we've got to get the shot collar. Okay? So that way McDaniel's standing on the sidelines, and he's shocking Tua to get rid of the football. Okay? Now, it's as I've said before, this is a dangerous thing if we do this with Tua, the shot collar. Why do I say that? Because a lot of people still don't understand that Tua is a tough son of a bitch. So knowing Tua, he'll probably take the shock and still hold on to the football. I mean, think about it. He's not afraid of his dad. Who the hell is going to be afraid of a little shock? So I suggest we do the shock collar, but I'm the more I get to know Tua, the more I think it just won't work. Dude's going to hang on to the ball anyway. Yeah. McDaniel runs out of battery by the end of the first quarter. Was like laughing at him. It's like that friend of yours that can eat a jalapeno and make you like you're crying and he's eating the jalapeno just from the spicy air coming out and hitting your eyes. It's making you cry, and your friend's like laughing, eating the jalapeno, going, "Bro, this is nothing. What's wrong with you? You're a wussy." Big O, pick a toe and let it fly. No, I think he said pick a guy. I think that's what he's saying. All right, we're out of here. We thank Cameron Wolfe. We thank, of course, Marcel Louis-Jacques and the great Mike McDaniel, the fantastic Sean Stanley, of course, Chad getting it done too. We thank all of you for tuning in. And those of you that admitted that you were wrong about Skyler, congratulations. Those of you that admitted that Teddy Two Gloves is not anything close to Tua Tagovailoa, the good thing is, ladies and gentlemen, you will now appreciate Tua Tagovailoa more than ever as time goes on. That dude's tough. He'll come back, and he'll lead the Dolphins to the title. We'll see you tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. Have a great one out there. Much love.
This has been the EJDconstruction.com Miami Dolphins Postgame Show on the Sports Talk 305 Network. The show is mastered by Sean Stanley and Chad Show. From home to kitchen to bathroom additions and remodelings. Get in contact with one of the best contractors in the business. Call Eric at EJDconstruction.com. 305-433-4843. Please subscribe to our platform by searching Big O Radio Show on all digital avenues. On behalf of all our staff, we thank you for supporting us. Have a fantastic week.